This is John Allen, a certified sommelier, and I just wanted to shoot kind of a brief introduction specifically for the whole bottle review section of wholebottlereviews.com. I've got a more general introduction on the homepage, but for the specific whole bottle reviews, wanted to shoot another introduction for you because I want to let you know exactly how this is going to work. So what I'm going to do is once a week I'm going to pick one whole bottle I'm going to drink that I think will either be a magical bottle that really transcends the fermented grape juice that's in it, and then give you my before and after review about that. Or what I'll do, and I like doing this quite a bit, is I'll pick a bottle that may not necessarily be magical, but it'll be a great introduction to a region that you might not be familiar with. One of the, the most magical part of wine to me is exploring regions that you don't really know about, that have styles of wine that can be truly magical. So for example, most people in the US, and that's how I got started, really are into California wine with maybe a little bit of French every now and then. And don't get me wrong, I love my California wines and I love my French wines, but there are so many other regions out there. Priorat in Spain, in France you have Northern Rhone, Barossa Valley in Australia, there's the Maule Valley and Maipo Valley in Chile. There's so many just amazing regions to try. So maybe, I don't know, about half the time or so, I'm going to pick a bottle that may not necessarily be quite magical, but it will be a great introduction to the region, and then I'll give you several examples of where to go from that. So what I kind of like to do is I like to split this into two parts. Part one is I'll give you my initial impression of the wine, open it up, I'll tell you a little bit about the wine, a little bit about the region, but we're not going to get crazy with wine education here. This is more going to be what I call wine entertainment and really kind of focusing what's in the glass. I want to give you my impression of it as a certified sommelier, enough of an introduction to get you to try it, and then you can go experience the magic on your own. I don't want to get too caught up in fancy wine terms, like tannins and acids and phenolics and all of that stuff. Maybe a little bit of that, but I really want to focus on the experience of the wine, and that's what we're really going to do here at Whole Bottle Reviews. Now, after I recover from my hangover, because I am going to drink that whole bottle of wine, you better believe it. After I'm fully recovered, and I like to take notes as I'm drinking the wine, I'll sit down and give you my whole bottle review afterwards. I want to tell you about my experience with the wine. Where did it start? Where did it go? And this just isn't about aromas and flavors or anything like that. If it turns out to be a very good bottle, but not quite a magical bottle, yeah, we're going to kind of focus on that. But if it's a magical bottle, I want to tell you about the emotional experience that I had with the wine. What was the journey that it took me on? Where did we start? Where did we finish up? How did it leave me feeling? How did I feel as one? Because that's the magic of wine. You're not going to get that from any other beverage. You're only going to get that from fine wine, and I'm going to give you my impression of it. Now, just because I have a magical experience doesn't necessarily mean that you or anybody else is, but it increases the probability of it because very fine wines that deliver magical experiences tend to do so across a broad spectrum. One thing that I will do is with every whole bottle review I do, I'm also going to recommend to you specific wines that are like the one that we had, so that you can go explore on your own. Because one of my biggest gripes about the wine industry in particular is they kind of expect you to know everything. They expect you to know the regions, they expect you to know the styles, they expect you to know the wines. And the truth of the matter is, very few of us didn't. Until I really got into wine, I had no idea about places like Barolo or Barbaresco or Ribera del Duero or Priorat or Willamette Valley or anything like that. Chilean wines. I mean, the Carmenere, the good Carmenere that comes out of Chile, there can be some bad stuff. Good Carmenere can just be a delight to the senses to drink. So one thing that I really want to do out of this, and I think is going to be one of the most exciting things, is to introduce you to regions of wine and styles all around the world that are really going to open up the world of wine to you. Get you out just out of California and some of France. Because when you become a true wine lover, that's really part of the magic, is exploring these wonderful wines from these distant, far-off lands and tasting and smelling things that you never even knew existed. And even if that bottle of wine wasn't magical, there are wines from that region that can be quite magical. By the way, I'll tell you something very interesting. Most people don't know that in the United States that Washington State makes some fantastic Cabernet Sauvignons. Everybody thinks about California, and justifiably so, but you can get some amazing Cabernet Sauvignons from Washington State. Cayuse Vineyard, of which the waiting list, I believe, is, I don't know, 10, 15, whatever many years. Bionic Frog, $500 a bottle, and it's just stuff that will just absolutely blow you away. So I want to introduce you to regions like this so that you can experience magic both by going into the region and by drinking some of these magical bottles. So I wish I could do 2, 3, 4, 5 reviews a week for you, but for health and fitness reasons, I'm going to stick with one bottle, maybe sometimes two if I have a friend come over, but we'll do it once a week. I'll pick one bottle that I think may be amazing or introduce you to an amazing region, shoot one review of part 1 on it, tell you where I think it's going to go, and then we'll shoot part 2 where I'll tell you where it actually went. And it's always kind of fun to see how do my predictions from a sip and swallow review match up for the whole bottle review, and you'll very quickly see why we prefer whole bottle reviews over these taste and spit or sip and swallow reviews, because often they're really not predictive. So anyways, we're going to have a lot of fun here. This is going to be wine education, wine entertainment, some wine education, but the whole purpose of this is to introduce you to the magic of wine.